Greetings to my dear parishioners. Every December, at around the time of my birthday and approaching the new year, I do my annual canonical retreat. That's the 5-day retreat priests do every year to reflect on their lives. And this year, I'm turning 50. And so Father Yves Marchildon, the associate pastor here at St. Mary's, he graciously offered that if I'd like to take a little extra time, since it's a significant new season in my life, turning 50, that he'd be glad to accommodate that. And so I decided that I'm going to do an extended retreat this year. As I enter into my 50s, I'm going to take 40 days in the wilderness to prepare for the next decade of my life. And I'm calling it a micro sabbatical. In my 23 years of priesthood, I've never taken a break. And so a sabbatical is typically a year. If a person takes 6 months or 3 months, that might be considered a mini sabbatical. And I figure 40 days should be called a micro sabbatical. 40 days is more than enough for me. I love St. Mary's so much, I can't see myself wanting to be away from St. Mary's any longer than that. But I'm looking forward to the time. I'm going to be at an undisclosed location, and I'm also going to be renting a sand pit from a landowner deep in the backwoods, an old abandoned sand pit. I'm hoping to use the sand pit as a place to kind of fill some of the hours of the day. I mean, 17 hours of the day alone in the wilderness, you got to do something. And I have a creative outlet, so I'm planning on kind of building what I call a detox center. A big part of the 40 days is I want to detox from the amount of time I'm spending on my phone and on the internet and reading the news and all that type of thing. Over the last 3 years, there's been a creep in my life of just more and more time spent watching the news and on the internet and all of that type of thing. And it's very clear to me that I want the Father Mark Goring in his 50s to be significantly different than the Father Mark Goring of his 40s. I'm calling it Father Mark Goring 5.0. And one of the big things is I don't want to be glued to my phone in my 50s. I want to really drastically reduce the amount of time I spend on the internet. I want to kind of upgrade my rule of life. And so the 40 days is mainly meant to be spent seeking grace, the grace to be able to stick to my resolution to keep a new rule of life. There will be an apostolic missionary dimension to the 40 days. I do want to reach the whole world during these 40 days with some kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, pioneering of new approach to online evangelization. I have to fill the 17 hours of the day while I'm awake, and so I do have a creative outlet. So I rented a sand pit deep in the backwoods. A buddy of mine owns some land. There's an old abandoned sand pit on his land, and I'll be using that sand pit as, I'm going to call it my detox center, where I'll be kind of developing a self-directed program to kind of do some wholesome activities that will be good for my soul and also help in the process of detaching from all the time spent on the internet, watching the news and all that type of thing. So there's a lot more I could say. I think I'll just leave it at that. Please keep me in your prayers. I'll certainly be praying for you during the 40 days. And the 40 days start on Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, October 13th, and I'll be back in Ottawa probably on November 21st or November 22nd. God bless you, and may the Lord, here's a scripture for you. I will allure her and lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. Viva Christore.